In our headlines for this evening, locally, NIA offers amnesty to non-nationals and police officers in Nevis commence 2015 with special service. The details are straight ahead. Good evening, Happy New Year, and welcome to the Nevis Newscast for today, Monday, January 5th, 2015. I am Bronte Swanston Hendrickson. The Premier's Ministry today announced an amnesty period for non-nationals who have not regularized themselves. Permanent Secretary Wakely Daniel made the announcement.
Those non-nationals who are outstanding, who is owing for previous years, all years prior to 2015, once they come in and regularize themselves in 2015, the years that they've been outstanding for will be wiped off, will be waived. In other words, they will be given stamps for those years. So let me explain. If you have been outstanding, you have not paid for 2012, 2013, 2014, you can come in between the amnesty months, January, February, March, and regularize yourselves. And those 3 years, 12, 13, and 14, you will be given the stamps. But let me make it clear. This only happens for the 3 months, the amnesty months, January, February, March of 2015.
Further, annual residency fees have been reduced, Daniel announced.
The fee for the work permits during the amnesty month will be reduced by $500. The fee for annual residency during the amnesty month will also be reduced by $500. So instead of paying $2,500 for a work permit, the employer will now only have to pay $2,000. And instead of paying $1,500 for annual residency, during the amnesty months, you'll only have to pay $1,000.
There will also be a 50% reduction in alien land holding license application fees for CARICOM nationals.
The reduction in the alien land holding license will be exclusively done for CARICOM non-nationals. It will be reduced from 10% to 5%. All of this is a goodwill gesture on the part of the Nevis Island administration. We value the non-nationals, we value their contribution and all that they have done for us here on the island of Nevis.
In his New Year address, Premier of Nevis, the Honorable Vance Amory, said in 2015 he is challenging all residents of Nevis to work towards creating a more harmonious society.
Our Caribbean brothers and sisters who reside among us play a vital role in the social and economic development of our country. It is in this context that I encourage all of our non-nationals to see themselves as part of the community of Nevis and to respect the customs, the traditions, and the laws of our country. In this way, we can build an important, harmonious Caribbean society in which every person is respected and afforded an equal opportunity to live and to make a better way of life for himself or herself.
Premier of Nevis, the Honorable Vance Amory. Participating in a service captioned New Year's Blessings is how the officers of the Nevis Division of the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force have started off 2015. Their service, which was held earlier today, January 5th, at the divisional headquarters in Charlestown, received remarks from Deputy Commissioner of Police Stafford Liburd, Assistant Commissioner Robert Liburd, and the Superintendent Hilroy Brandy, as well as prayers by Force Chaplain Pastor Leroy Benjamin. Featured speaker Hansel Manners spoke on the theme Fostering Community Relations to Reduce Crime.
I refer to earlier times when I was younger, when policemen walked around among the villages. In those days, maybe they rode bicycles, but they came around the village and stopped and chatted to mothers and fathers. They came to church. You saw them here and you saw them there. And so people got accustomed to policemen, and the policemen became friends. So it was easy to call a policeman and say something. So I encourage you to join clubs in the community, visit schools, and I'm sure I would think you're doing some of this already, but I encourage it still. Visit schools, give talks to children. Don't wait until they become rogues and they get locked up. Target them early. Do training exercises. I'm sure the schools will be glad to see policemen coming to give talks about crime and how not to get into crime. Play sports with the community. Intervene in troubling areas early. The police should have a social outreach arm, an arm which is dedicated to improving communication with the public and making it easier for the police to talk to the community.
Noting the reduction in crime in 2014, Manners commended the officers for the good work that they have been doing in protecting the Nevisian society.
When the figures go up, the force gets criticized. So when the figures go down, we must commend and congratulate the police. So congratulations again. So at this time, I would like to wish for your continued safety and success in 2015 as you go about the job of policing our Nevis society.
That was Hansel Manners, the featured speaker at today's New Year service for the Nevis Division of the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force. Meantime, the Nevis Island administration will, in 2015, continue to do all in its power to combat crime and antisocial behavior. Residents of the Federation should break the silence and take action to preserve the peace, security, and stability of the country, says Premier of Nevis and Minister responsible for security, the Honorable Vance Amory.
As a people, we must resolve that 2015 will be the year when we slay the dragon of crime and violence. As a government, we cannot do it alone. We need all hands on deck, the police and every citizen in every community, to accomplish the eradication of crime and violence from our midst. This year, we must speak with one voice and proclaim to the criminals, enough is enough. No longer will we tolerate senseless acts of violence. We are living in an age where our tried and proven values have been cast aside without any regard for reason. There's also a distinct lack of respect for authority and the sanctity of life. My fellow citizens, this callous free-for-all is being promoted by a minority in our society who place their personal agenda above the interest of that of the country. As a law-abiding people, we must never succumb to the silence of complicity and allow our indifference to embolden the criminals. In the immortal words of Edmund Burke, and I quote, "The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing."
Premier of Nevis, the Honorable Vance Amory. Stay with us. We'll have more local news after this break.
We are the 20 students of the Jackson Primary School, and you are watching MTV. Yay!
Welcome back. The crime-fighting efforts of the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force are being accelerated with the handing over of a custom-built mobile command unit and 4 additional Pathfinder SUVs. The vehicles were given as part of the 10th European Development Fund Safety and Security Improvement Program and represent the government's drive to improve safety and security in the Federation, according to Permanent Secretary of the Anti-Crime Unit, Her Excellency Astona Brown. She says the officers now have the capacity to apply modern technology in detecting criminal activity and have modern crime-fighting capabilities through training in many areas of law enforcement, which have proven quite effective as the officers are now more knowledgeable in processing and analyzing information that leads to the apprehension of criminals. The Mobile Command Unit, which serves as a moving meeting room, is outfitted with a number of modern crime-fighting technologies such as audio-visual equipment, data communication facilities, an internal server, electricity generator, voice-over internet protocol, Wi-Fi first aid tools, 360-degree surveillance, and will run on low-sulfur diesel. Prime Minister and Minister with responsibility for the Anti-Crime Unit, the Right Honourable Dr. Denzel Douglas, says the addition of this unit to the force will also improve its reassuring presence in communities across the Federation. Commissioner of Police Dr. Selvin Walwyn stresses that the addition of the vehicles and the comprehensive training for the officers who would operate it will help the force to continue to reduce the crime rate. Under similar initiatives in 2014, the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force has also received 10 Luxgen model vehicles, and a state-of-the-art fire tender was received by the Charlestown Police Station. 4 units within the Nevis Island administration will see noticeable increases in their expenditure allocations for 2015. As he delivered the 2015 budget address, Premier and Minister of Finance, the Honourable Vance Amory, announced that the Ministry of Finance and the Audit Department will be 2 of those areas. He gave these reasons.
The increase in the allocation for the Audit Department is intended to enhance the critical objective of the department to provide value-for-money audits and the effective oversight and reporting on the stewardship of the public resources. The department will assiduously resolve the backlog in the completion of the audit reports for submission to Parliament or to this Assembly. In support of such objectives, the amount of $406,178 has been allocated to the department. The allocation of the Ministry of Finance amounts to $54.77 million, of which $26.61 million is allocated for debt servicing.
Noticeable increases in expenditure allocations for the Education and Social Development departments are also reflected in the NIA's 2015 budget.
There's a reconceptualization of the education sector that embodies a coherent policy for the delivery of education services that articulates the difference between secondary, tertiary, and technical or vocational education. It is hoped that this change will assist further in the promotion of inclusive education that significantly increases the access and participation of individuals at these levels. To execute these and other objectives, the Ministry of Education has allocated $20.13 million. The amount of $6.9 million in recurrent expenditure is allocated to the Ministry of Social Development.
The increased allocation for the Ministry of Social Development is expected to assist the ministry in its quest to deliver programs which serve the collective interests of Nevisian communities. That's it for tonight's edition of the Nevis Newscast. Thank you for viewing. Good night.